Okay. So you're known as the wrestling nerd, correct?
That's right. Melvin Hayes,
Okay.
the wrestling nerd,
So, why don't you go ahead and
live from my mom's basement.
why don't you go ahead and give me a little bit of information about your training and what originally inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
So I started training in the year 2000. Supreme Brett Powers and a guy named Randy Miller. And then I joined the Army and got away with it for a little bit and came back and finished my training with Irish Mickey Doyle, who's kind of a big deal. And then in 2011, I had my first match. And I was inspired to become a pro wrestler by watching with my dad and watching with my grandpa. And it's just something I've always wanted to do. It's the dream.
Yeah, certainly a dream for all of us. I wish I could do. So in my research, I noticed a fairly large gap in between your original training and then your first match. Just out of curiosity, what was going on in about the 10 years that that separated those two?
So taking the Melvin off for a second. So I started training in, like I said, 2000. Trained until 2001. Almost had my first match, but it got cut from the card that I was going to be on. And I joined the Army shortly after that. I was a combat engineer from 2001 to 2004. Then came home, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. It was to cover up my post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety, kind of the after effects of the Army. And I got clean on September 5th of 2008, and I've been clean and sober since then. So, being that I'm from kind of a small area, wrestling promotions about 100 miles south of me. But, let's see, my wife and I had gotten married in 2008, so we were kind of freshly married. Trying to, at the time, I was also trying to mend fences because I wasn't exactly the most responsible human being when I was, actively drinking and using and such.
Yeah, understood.
So, in 2011, the opportunity came along, and I had talked with my initial trainer, Supreme Brett Powers, because I had saw that there was an event coming up for UPW Pro Wrestling. It was based out of Escanaba, Michigan. They'd been active back when I was initially training. There was two promotions up here. There was the Triad Wrestling Federation and UPW. And initially, I was kind of working more towards making my debut with Triad, and there was no real reason. But I talked with the promoter, Peter B. Beautiful, and, well, I talked with Peter B. Beautiful, and he talked to the promoters. And based on Supreme Brett Powers giving me, putting in a good word for me, I got a chance. And I took the ball and ran with it as hard as I could. I had what I consider to be a very good match with Playboy Paul Richards, who's since passed away. And I've been rolling ever since.
That first match took place at the UPW show Supreme Judgment, correct?
That's it. Yep, September 10th, 2011, I think it was.
Yeah. Why don't you, if you don't mind, why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
Okay, so I had worked all day, and then I just tore to the arena. We were doing it at a place called the Delft Nightclub, and I didn't want to be late. It's always been my goal to be there for setup, to do whatever is needed, tear down, sure that I'm my butt off for the show, because that's, in my opinion, the most important thing. Sorry, I'm playing with my lighting here, trying to delay some of my social awkwardness. So I got there and didn't know anybody. I knew Brett, and he wasn't quite there yet. So I asked around, and you know how people's pictures never actually look like the people on Facebook. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for Peter B, the only other person at the event I knew, and he told me what to do. We got the chairs set up and all this, and I am just freaking out. I'm sweating like crazy because Playboy Paul Richards wasn't there yet. You know, I didn't. He was driving up from Chicago with another fella, and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna get booted from this one too. It's just never gonna happen. And at this time, I had trained for a long time. I knew the basics. I'd never wrestled in front of a crowd before. Like in high school, I'd done a bunch of theater, you know, improv theater and stuff like this. So I'm used to being in front of people, and I'm a musician as well. So I've performed in front of people in that aspect, but never in wrestling. Wrestling. I'm sorry, gotta pronounce it properly here. And then I saw this guy walk through the door, and it was the Playboy, and I don't know if you heard that thud. One of my kids is getting crazy upstairs, as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 little monsters, and they're the best and the worst.
Oh yeah, they can be crazy.
Oh, no doubt. So so I'm super nervous. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and you know, we got in the ring. I didn't even know what entrance music I had. I walked out to the Revenge of the Nerds song, which I thought was pretty appropriate. You know, from the movie Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh yeah.
I'll dress up for Revenge of the Nerds. So I mall walk my little way down there, and I'm going, and I get in the ring, and you can actually see in the video. You know, usually my shoulders sit like this. Well, I was looking like Chris Farley in a fat guy in a little coat, and you know, we went through. We had our match. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJ you know, like that shameless self promotion there.
Oh yeah,
A
definitely.
real good basic match. I came out on top. Sunset flip. You can
That's
actually
cool.
hear my niece freak out and scream when she first started seeing Uncle getting beaten up. I think she might have been 3 years old at the time, maybe 2 or 3, somewhere in that neighborhood. And she goes, ah! So for a little bit later, Paul Richards had a T-shirt that said "I make babies cry" just because of that moment, which I thought was kind of neat.
Definitely. I'm a little curious. I had, like I was saying before, I had some notes and whatnot. You said you were a musician. What do you play?
So back in school, I played the trumpet and the tuba and the French horn, and I did a little auxiliary percussion. Right now, my main instrument is guitar. I like to play acoustic guitar. I can play a little mandolin, a little bass, a little bit of drums, but I'm not super good at it. And I'd been puttering around with lap steel guitar, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out how to make I can make noise with it, just not good noise.
Yeah, the lap steel guitars can be a little different. I actually ran a music store for 5 years. I played in a few different bands and whatnot, actually playing in one now. That's why I was just kind of curious about that.
All right, yeah, I see the drums in your background there.
Yeah. Apart from your first match, do you have any other favorite moments or matches that you've been a part of?
So there's been several pretty special moments. I think my best match was against Jonathan Smash at UPW Lord of the Hardcore 2013. I want to say it was. We went to town. It was real good stuff, and Smash has been so good to me throughout my career. And honestly, I had another one. I had a really fun hardcore match with Peter B. Beautiful. My first hardcore match ever, and I learned a lot from him. He's a great guy. I love being around him. What else was there? I won the title, the UPW heavyweight title from Supreme Brett Powers, my first trainer, in, you know, another phenomenally special moment, because that was my goal when I first started out. I thought it would be so cool to be the heavyweight champion of, somewhere, and to be the champion, in my home state promotion, because I live in Upper Michigan, the part that everyone thinks is an animal preserve. Surprise, we have electricity and flush toilets. That's pretty special. But to hold the heavyweight championship was pretty doggone special, with all the people that I started with, and the people that I love, and just brutal rivalries that I've had. One constant one has been Nathan Gust. He and I feuded over the UPW Rookie of the Year 2012 award for some time, and still not quite sure who holds it. We might need to have one more go. Joseph Schwartz has beaten me for every title I've ever held. That's kind of a fun fact. He wrestles as Schwartzy now, and if you haven't seen any of his stuff, watch him. He is fun.
I will definitely
awesome in whatever he does.
I'll definitely check that out. I watched I got on your YouTube channel and watched a couple of your matches. I don't recall him offhand. But yeah, I will definitely check that out.
And then in my third match, if I can take just a quick second more.
Just keep talking.
My third match, I got to tag up with Eugene. WWE, Eric Bischoff's nephew.
Oh, really?
That was super cool. I had so much fun with him. And again, nervous as heck. People think, oh, he's doing such a good act. Like, no, man, this is just really me. I'm incredibly nervous all the time. It's kind of my thing. Tagging with Eugene was an incredible learning experience. I worked on an event with Wildfire Tommy Richards. God, did I just get his name wrong? Well, Wildfire. I worked on a show with Wildfire, and that was outstanding. Sorry, my brain is just not there lately.
Oh, no, you're fine.
But yeah, he walked by me, and in this big old Southern drawl, he claps me on the shoulder and say, "You did all right, man." And I was really tickled by that. Seeing a guy that I saw on TV back when I first started watching in the 80s, because I'm kind of an old man as far as wrestlers go. So that was another really cool moment. There was a while where I thought I had to retire because I got a vitriol detachment in my right eye, which consequently is why I wear glasses now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, apparently head trauma is not good. Who knew?
How did that happen? Is that something that happened over time, or was there like a specific instance that?
So there is, partially because of my history, there is a big span of time where I didn't go see the eye doctor or anything. So it could have been any time from like 2001 to 2016. So not exactly a precise science here.
Okay.
But I think it's just repeated head trauma. There's been a lot of, between the Army and wrestling and Taekwondo and Muay Thai and all the other fun high impact stuff that I enjoy. I'll tell you about that if you like later. I've taken a lot of shots to the head, so it was probably there have been I'm pretty sure I should have been checked out, but I wasn't. So I thought I had to retire, and it was crushing because this is the dream. This is the only thing that I've ever wanted to do with my life. As far back as 2 years old, wrestling with my stuffed bunny Flopsy.
I did similar things as a kid, so I understand.
Oh, it's the way to go, Yeah, and then I went to the eye doctor. I believe it was the next year, just to get my vision checked again, because this eye is blurry. And doc says, "Hey, I can't see any evidence of the vitriol detachment. I had to have a laser eye surgery to correct a tear." And so he scopes me out a little closer with this new machine that he got. And turns out I guess it resolved. So I was super excited. I said, "Hey doc, does this mean that I can get back to wrestling?" And he said, "You might want to pump the brakes on that. You might want to see how low impact you can go." And I said, "Yeah, but what if I don't?" Well, I can't sign off on it, but it doesn't look like there's any evidence of this injury. So I got back into it. And you know that look that Edge had when he came back at the Royal Rumble, that
Yeah.
the deer in the headlights, overwhelmed
Mhm.
by everything. When I saw him have that, I felt it very deeply because on a much smaller scale, I was in front of, I'd say, 75 people, somewhere in that neighborhood. I felt that, like, just that rush, that, oh my God, I'm back. What the hell do I do? And it's the coolest feeling, and there's no proper words to describe it, but it's when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I get it, and I was so happy for him.
So did you with the eye injury, did you end up, you said you thought you had to retire. Did you like have a formal period of time where you were retired, or was this just getting the eye checked out and slowing down a little bit? What went on there?
Yeah, I had a formal time where I was retired. Um, Actually, Silas Young of Ring of Honor was at the event that I had to give my retirement speech at, and that was another cool moment. I should have mentioned that earlier. I had my wife and my daughter up in the ring with me. My wife was like super pregnant with our twins. She had a little shelf out front, and I was holding on to my daughter, giving the speech. She grabs the microphone away from me, and I'm like, oh, well, this should be interesting. "I just want to thank all of you for letting my daddy wrestle in front of you." And I'm like, well, she's got this from here. I'm just going to go to the back and just let her take care of this from now on. The kids got it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it was neat. Brett Powers and Peter B. Beautiful and Slick Rick McCarty was up in the ring with me. And these are people that are just my buds. And we had a lot of hugs afterwards. And, Schwartzy came up into the ring. Nathan Gust was there. Like I said, everyone that had been important to me throughout the tenure of my career up to that point, we were all given hugs and some tears were shed. And that was it. Like I said, Silas Young actually made a really nice tweet about it. He's an absolute class act, a wonderful human being, and he is truly what he says he is. The man in pro wrestling.
Oh,
He says he's
yeah.
the last man, but he's excellent. He was nice enough to make a tweet about that, and I being the fan that I am at heart, I took a screenshot of it, saved it, and it's in my cool stuff folder for when I'm old and I can't do it anymore, and I tell the grandkids, kids, Grandpa used to be a wrestler, and they're like, yeah, Grandpa, let's get you back to the home now.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable. You had brought up Muay Thai, what martial arts type stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I started training in Taekwondo at 9 years old, and that's been a really, really important thing throughout my life. Muay Thai, I started, I want to say 13, 14 years old, and I trained with a sensei in my hometown who had come over from Malaysia, and he was a legit Muay Thai fighter back in the day before he came over here. So he's absolutely the real deal. He was like 5'3", and in the 30 years that I've known him, he has only gotten faster and stronger. And to this day, he can put me in my place like that if I need. But he never would, because he is just that cool of a guy. He is the epitome of what I would consider a proper sensei. So I hold a black belt in Taekwondo, and like I said, I had trained in Muay Thai, and I got to train in Taekwondo over in South Korea when I was stationed there. And I participated in this thing that my division did with the Republic of Korea Army called the Warrior Olympics. I made it to the last round of the heavyweight bracket in Taekwondo. One, I'm like, well, how did I lose? I only got. I took a semester of judo in college, and my sensei at home here showed us a whole bunch of, or not a whole bunch, but integrated like jujitsu and judo and Wing Chun, all kinds of cool stuff like that into various trainings just to keep things fresh, keep us moving, keep the body guessing. So martial arts has been a huge part of my life, and I try to work that into my wrestling style when I can. It offers a whole bunch of really neat locks and excellent strikes, and that's really helped me along the way.
Cool. So I saw, I believe, noticed on your Facebook page, it looks like you've been pretty consistently wrestling for the UPW. I know that this whole COVID thing that's been going on has affected everyone. There's a couple local promotions, one here in Salem and one in Portland, that had to shut down a little bit. It looks like, judging by Facebook, that UPW pretty much had to do the same, but it looked like they're starting to run shows again. How does it feel to be getting back to that a little bit?
I am very excited to get back. It's hard to be away from the ring. I got to do an event down in Chicago, and that was really nice. It was in North Lake, Illinois, back on July 3rd, and it was so hot that day. But so worth it to get back in the ring. I looked like a bowl of melted ice cream because I think I put on the COVID-19 and then some.
Yeah.
But yeah, our event is gonna be October 9th in Iron Mountain, Michigan, and I'm gonna be wrestling against a guy named Sin, who is on AEW. He's part of the Capital Vices, and I am super intimidated by him. I think he's going to kill me. I think this is really going to be it.
I believe I saw something about that on your Facebook or something else. Before I let you go, is there anything else you want to bring up or talk about? And if you want to plug your YouTube or your Facebook, or if you've got a Twitter, feel free to do any of that.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at It's Adam, OPE_It's Adam. And Facebook, I am facebook.com/TheWrestlingNerd. Let's see what else. UPW Last Call, October 9th at the Iron Mountain Rec Center. That's going to be one to keep your eye on because we've got a bunch of really fun guys coming in. I think it's going to be an excellent event. And you said you are near Portland? Out the Northwest. So there's a fella that wrestles up there, goes by the name of Jaden, Jaiden.
Okay, I believe I'm familiar with him.
So he is a guy to watch. He was at that the event that I did in Chicago recently, and I got to watch his match. And watching him and the Florida man Aries Toretto wrestle together, well, it was like I got sucked in, and I was nothing but a fan. I love those moments when everything else drops, and all there is what's in front of you, the ring and the guys in it. Wow. And they really did it. They had something special going on. Consequently, Florida man Aries Toretto is going to be at the event as well. There's going to be a lot of really fun surprises at this event, and if you're in the area, I would love to see you there. We have 5 pre-sale tickets remaining. Otherwise, if you want to see, I'll throw myself out there right now. If you want to see Melvin Hayes at your hometown promotion, make sure and tell someone. I can only find so many people, and my mom only lets me go out and play so frequently.
Well, like I said, I know that DOA Pro Wrestling in Portland is gearing up again. I believe they've got a show on September 2nd, and then the WCWC, which is local promotion here in Salem believe their return event is November 7th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna try to do. I'm not trying to spoil anything, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. I have been in contact with the promoter. I'm hoping to do a little bit of work with him, so maybe there's a way we can get you out here. Who knows?
Hey, right on. That would be fun.
This has definitely been fun. This is the first interview I have done, so I apologize if I've been awkward or anything like that.
No worries. Awkward is my thing.
After I do a few more of these, I don't see any reason why I couldn't have you on again if you're down with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had fun. You're easy to talk to. I think that's about the highest praise I can give anyone.
All right. Well, I thank you for that. But yeah, we will be in contact, and I'm sure I will have you on again.
Outstanding. Hey, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
It's been my pleasure too.